Welcome to NFL World, where NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And to begin, as this is really more take two because of what just happened here, but we're going to talk about Robert Saleh. I know we've talked about it almost ad nauseum, but I really want to hammer this out here for the What to Play podcast that we right now are currently shooting here. To recap, if you haven't been paying a lot of attention, Robert Saleh, Tuesday morning, was fired. Saleh was blindsided by the firing, but was grateful for the opportunity, as he said in a later statement. The news that came out about this, though, was shocking. Like, it was things like he was escorted out of the building, that it wasn't a mutual parting of ways, that it was something going on. And then it kind of got weird, and I said this on Tuesday on the NFL World YouTube channel, which go check it out. I said, why did Woody Johnson say that he had a conversation with Aaron Rodgers? Now, I tried to find, and I'm still in the midst of trying to find the clip of where Woody started talking about it after the Saleh firing, and possibly by Monday I might have an opportunity to share that with you. But when I find it, I'm going to listen to it very, very closely. I wanted to listen to see, did the radio host ask Mr. Woody Johnson, did Aaron have anything to do with it? Or did Woody just decide he was going to throw Aaron's name in there? Because, look, we were all thinking it. We all were. But with Woody saying it, it became more like, why did he say it? I mean, yes, we were all thinking it. But why did he say it? And to answer that question is a deeper thing, because he said, well, yeah, I called Aaron when they were coming back from the UK about his injury. I swear, I've watched football for a very long time, and I've paid very close attention, and I've seen some owners that are they're very involved, and there's owners that aren't very involved, and with players, but I've never heard ever a owner call a player to ask about a low ankle sprain. I've never heard that. So obviously he did have something to say about it. He did say, okay, we're probably going to do this. And I can't 100% say that for sure. But when he said, well, Aaron had nothing to do with it, it got the wheels turning a little bit. I'm like, well, the offense is not playing well. And just yesterday, but I didn't want to make a video about it because I didn't feel like there was enough news. The Jets demoted Nathaniel Hackett and giving the play calling duties to Todd Downing. So I don't exactly know how this helps the offense either, because there isn't a fix, I think. And when they gave him the play calling duties was a Thursday. So since they play on a Monday, that's like a Wednesday for them. Okay, fine. But I don't see how this helps you. And I do think there's a bigger issue. And every once in a while, I turn on Inside the NFL on the CW. And Belichick was talking about, he's like, look, there's more issues than Saleh. Which I completely agree with. He's talking about how they need like a whole overhaul of talent. Which I don't fully agree with, but he's talking about like personnel stuff. Like there's too much here for this. They gotta go and try and find it. And to me, this is a good defensive team, which is what Saleh was brought in to do. So I don't understand. And Belichick brought up, well, Bowles is a good coach, and they let go of him, and now Saleh, who's a good coach, they let go of him. I'm not disagreeing with that, but the offense is not better. Nathaniel Hackett never made the offense better. That was a power play to get Aaron to New York. Same like what we said about when Hackett was the head coach in Denver. It was a power play to they didn't care about the head coach. They wanted Aaron. That's what they wanted. Well, if you go through the stats up to this point in the season last year for the Jets, they were 2-3. Same place they are now. They completed 62% of their passes this year. Last year was Zach Wilson. Same amount. The numbers are pretty close. Aaron's not playing better than Zach Wilson. He's not, which is a concern. Because Aaron, we look at Aaron, we say he's a better quarterback. And a great point brought up on Inside the NFL was saying the Jets defense gets a stop. Aaron has the ball last. Saleh, I think he's looking at it and saying, okay, our defense just gave you the ball back, time going down the clock, and you have the ball last. Go score the game-winning touchdown when we're only down 4 against a 5-0 or a 4-0 team at that. And Aaron, who's a good quarterback, should be able to do that, and wasn't, and missed a lot of throws. He missed Garrett Wilson. He missed Mike Williams that came to be the pick. They can't run the ball. The offensive line is a mess. And the offensive line is what they overhauled this past offseason. So that's not better. So there is problems. But it's not going to be fixed by one player or 2 players or a new head coach or new DC. It's not going to, or an OC that we took away his play calling duties and gave it to someone else in the building. It's not going to fix it. You need to look internal and say what is going on. Because you're looking at it and saying, look, we've had multiple head coaches, it hasn't been fixed. We've had multiple defensive coordinators, multiple offensive coordinators, hasn't been fixed. There is something going on that is and hasn't completely been fixed. And it needs to be addressed. Saleh, I fear, is only the first domino that is going to fall for the Jets. And there will be many more dominoes to fall. A domino that fell in New England was the benching of Jacoby Brissett and the starting of Drake Maye in Week 6. I told you this, and Bob Gronkowski has said this too. Starting Drake Maye before Week 12 would be the worst decision that they could make. And I said starting him this year would be the worst. Well, starting in Week 6 against the Houston Texans. Why are they doing this? I don't understand. Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., and the rest of that defense is looking, we got a making his first career start. Here we go. Now, I understand that's going to be without Nico Collins, who's placed on IR with a hamstring issue. But that's on how is Drake Maye going to survive? I don't understand how. I don't. I'm concerned. I don't know how he's going to make it through. And talk about rattling a young man's confidence. I know we're kind of doing this out of order, not how we normally would do it with the games before, but we'll do the games after all the base news. So, to continue on with the news, Rashid Rice, we finally figured out what his injury is. His ACL and MCL were not impacted, so that's good. However, he suffered an LCL injury, which is the middle ligaments. So you have 3 ligaments, you have 3 big ligaments, and then you have your meniscus. Your LCL, if I remember correctly, goes over the top part of your kneecap, and your ACL so it goes like this. So it's ACL, MCL is middle, and I think LCL is kind of like on the edge of the top of your knee. I think that's how it works. So we tore that. Season's not completely, it's not like, completely out, but it's likely he's not going to play again this year, which is very unfortunate. I mean, it ain't needed against the Saints, but yeah, it was not good. And when you face better teams, that's really when you're going to miss it. Christian Wilkins was also placed on IR indefinitely. He had surgery on a Jones fracture, which is in your foot. It's a bone in your foot. Believe it's the bone in near one of your toes or something that it impacts the toes somehow. It's one of those injuries. You're like, man, I don't know when the timetable is. It could be 6 weeks, 10 weeks. You don't know. But not having him, he was your big acquisition. And now the Raiders go against this Pittsburgh Steelers team without one of their best guys. That's hard to deal with. Another player who's out, not injured, but cut, is Devin White. The Eagles have cut Devin White. Look, this was the big acquisition in the offseason by Howie Roseman. And he got outbeat, dude. Dean beat him out in camp. And he came in a little bit. wasn't good. Was not good at all. And yeah, that's the best I can say. He wasn't good. He didn't play well. And look, I understand he won a Super Bowl and stuff, but he hasn't been good. When you got beat out by, I believe it's KJ Britt last year, and then get released or not re-signed by Tampa, go to Philadelphia and get cut within the first 5 weeks of the season. After the first 5 weeks, like that explains the position you're in. And on a team that is already has depth issues at linebacker is saying we are willing to have more depth issues if you're not here. We are willing to have that over you being here because putting you out there is it would almost be dishonorable for us to do that. Next up, this kind of ties into, so let's do the Davante Adams stuff. Davante Adams, in terms of an update, has not been traded yet. Multiple teams are out, including some of the teams that weren't really even in to begin with. Teams that are still in are your Pittsburgh, Buffalo, things like that. The Saints, which in the Jets, but the Saints have lost Derek Carr for at least a little while. Carr is in the shop and he is out for multiple weeks with an oblique issue. Look, this kind of ties in to the recap, so I'll talk more about it then, but yeah, I don't see, if I'm Davante, I'm like, do I really want to go to the Saints if Derek's not playing because he's hurt? And I'm rolling with the backups, which the Saints are starting Spencer Rattler. I don't really want to do that. Before we get to that recap, though, the Browns are awful. They're really bad. You can blame Deshaun Watson. A lot of people do. You can blame the wide receiving corps. A lot of people do. You can blame the defense, which I wouldn't, but you can. They're just really bad. They're not a good team. They struggle immensely. They're not efficient. There's times that, and people say, "Oh, Deshaun quit on his team." I think the team quit on him first. They can't do anything about it. And Stefanski's standing up there, he's like saying, "Look, if I basically had the ability to change the quarterback, I would, but I don't because Haslam and the ownership want Deshaun to play." Because they're paying him this much money. Let's see what he's got. At some point, they will have to start Jameis Winston if it doesn't turn around. They play Philadelphia. But if they don't turn this around quickly, it's going to get ugly, even more ugly than it already has. Now into the recap of Week 5. Ravens-Bengals, 48-30, or 41-38, excuse me, was the score as the Ravens won this game. Very little defense was being played. I feel like Bengals and Ravens are in a similar boat. They only good on defense if their team makes an immaculate play. That's what happened. That's what happened. Like I'm serious. Like you look at it, they only have a chance to tie that game. The Ravens do because of a Marlon Humphrey interception. That's it. They didn't get him off the field. Jamar Chase they couldn't stop. Joe Burrow threw it a country mile. Lamar Jackson's offense was good in the air, but they couldn't. But still, as time expired, the Bengals had a chance as the Ravens had the ball late and fumble. Botch the snap. Bengals recover. And what did the Bengals do? Ultra conservative. Run the ball. Now, I don't blame the call and saying, okay, that's a smart call in the situation. Except they couldn't run it all day. They couldn't stop the pass, but they couldn't run it all day. So why run it 3 times? Then you have a botched hold, so McPherson misses, and Derrick Henry just rumbles down the sidelines for 50 yards. Which they actually did a really nice job against Derrick Henry until that run. And the game-winning field goal by Tucker. But props to Justin Tucker, too. He made a 50-yard field goal. He made a 56 that tied the game. So, good for Justin Tucker. Because he's not been great at beyond 50 this year. And even last year wasn't that great at it. Next up, Bills vs. Texans. Texans won this game 23-20. I don't care exactly what the score says. Josh Allen was garbage in this game. He was awful. 9 of 30 or 9 of 31, depends on where you go. He was bad. 30% completion percentage. That's what his completion percentage was. In all my years of covering this great sport and watching this great sport, I have never seen a completion percentage. I've never watched a game and the star quarterback throws 9 of 30 with a 30% completion percentage. I've never seen that until I saw it on Sunday. Late in the game, after battling back by the Bills, they have the ball. It's game's tied 20-20 inside their 10-yard line, inside the 5 actually. Throwing it from the end zone. Run the ball, get it to overtime, or force the Texans to use their timeout. One or the other. They decide throwing it deep 3 straight. Throwing it deep 3 straight times. Why? Horrible clock management by Sean McDermott. The clock, they only lost 16 seconds. 16 seconds. There's a 16-second drive. That's terrible. Then you punt it away. Robert Woods knows the exact situation he's in, and he knows where he has to get to. He goes north and south, gets 13. There's a short pass from Stroud. They call timeout. Out comes Miami Fairbairn, and he hits the game winner. And you guys lose this game 23-20 because you decided to throw the football instead of just running out the clock trying to get it to overtime. Next up, I can't believe this was a game at all. Dolphins versus Patriots. Dolphins won this game 15-10. Not that I can't believe the Dolphins won. I can't believe this was an actual football game. That we're watching Snoop Huntley play and Jacoby Brissett play for the Patriots. I can't believe it. 15-10 was the score. That score is almost insulting in a way. It's almost insulting. We had a blocked field goal. We had a fullback dive touchdown. We just had a little bit of everything. It was ridiculous. I don't like how this happened. We're just gonna pretty much skip over. That's how annoyed I am at this game. Cardinals at 49ers. 49ers were favored by 7.5, and the Cardinals ended up beating them 24-23. It was a hot day. It was 100 degrees. I'm not saying that's an excuse. And we're going to talk about 49ers in what happened last night against Seattle. I'm concerned about the 49ers. I am. A competent offense was allowed back into the game and given an opportunity to win, and they took full advantage of it. They couldn't stop Kyler on the ground consistently. On a 4th down, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the one that catches that for the first down. They have a backup kicker, and they kick and get it to 24-23. Interceptions, turnovers, can't happen, especially in divisional. They, including what happened last night, the 49ers are 1-2 in division. It's not great. At best bet, you can split with those other 2 teams and hopefully sweep Seattle. Moving on to Cowboys-Steelers. Cowboys winning this game 20-17. And I talked about this ad nauseum on the NFL World YouTube channel, so I'll kind of leave out a lot of it. The Cowboys won this game. They played better. They moved the ball better. They were more efficient on 3rd downs. The run defense was better and playing with injuries without Micah Parsons and without DeMarcus Lawrence. DeRon Bland not playing in that game either. And it looked good enough. It was good enough. There's concerns about the injuries. They've lost 4 defensive ends this year. They lost a defensive end that night too on the first drive. They made it work. On offense, they found something else other than, okay, we need the CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott to just win everything, so we have a chance. They found that Jalen Tolbert could be really good, and he played well, and he got the game-winning touchdown. I know he was hurting in that game because what happened on 3rd and goal play, but it worked, and you won this game. I don't enjoy listening really to people. I enjoy listening to people when they are forced to sit up there and stew in their own mindset of, I said they weren't gonna win, and then they end up winning, and they just have to sit there and pretend like they know football when they don't. And you gotta give credit where credit is due. Dallas did a good enough job to win. and win in Pittsburgh, which is not easy to do. It does lead to a conversation that I will have with Lucas on when do you switch to Russell Wilson if you're the Steelers. So I will have that conversation with him on next week's pod. So we'll see what happens there. But bottom line is this, and I said this all last week, and I'll probably say it for the rest of the year. Who cares if you win by 1 point, 3 points, 35 points, 100 points? It doesn't matter. Just win the game. Nothing else matters. Win, clean the other stuff up afterwards. Doesn't matter. And that's what Dallas did. They won. Talk about a team that won. The Chiefs go and say this was like a mercy killing at this point. Chiefs won this game 26-13. The game wasn't even that close. Derek Carr got hurt in this game. Oblique issue. Out. Can someone at this point just make Spagnuolo a head coach again? I think that's what a lot of teams are hoping for. Just make him I know he said, well, I don't want to. I don't care. You're going to become one. Something has to happen. There needs to be a mindset here. The Saints did not play well. They didn't even look prepared for what was going to happen. And that's the best I can say about it. Now, moving into week 6 preview of games. Let's start with the 49ers and Seahawks who played last night. 49ers won this game 36-24. The game shouldn't have been that close. You had a kick return touchdown by Laviska Shenault. But I'm concerned if I'm the 49ers and fans, really. I am. Yeah, you won the game 36-24. You were up in this game. Like early 20, I think it was 20. I think the score was 28-3 at one point. I think it was 28-3, and you won this game 36-24. And at one point allowed the Seahawks to get back to a one-score game. No. 16 straight points the Seahawks scored. I'm concerned. It's that simple. So, it's a good win. Get healthy. They had a backup kicker who ended up getting hurt at the end of the game. Again, kickers, get out of the way. Don't try and hit somebody. Get out of the way. Who cares? Just get out of the way. Because you had the job, now you're hurt, now we gotta go get another guy in 10 days. So, and I'm not, Seattle didn't play well on offense either, but, you can't allow it. And I think that might be just the thing the 49ers have to deal with all year. That they just haven't played well. It's odd, they're up 2 scores, and then they somehow almost squander it back-to-back games. I don't know how to explain that. I really don't. Next up, Texans versus Patriots. Patriots favored by +7. Drake Maye's first up. I don't know if this is because, and I said this, I don't know if this is because Drake Maye is a rookie and is having his first career start, or if the Patriots are just that bad. And the needle didn't really move anyway, because Drake Maye was starting. So, I'm taking the Texans. It's not going to be an interesting game. 31-10, and I think Drake Maye gets beaten pretty badly in this game. And we're going to be questioning Patriots' decision to start him. Because his offensive line is horrible. And the players are not great either. Next up, Ravens vs. 49ers. Commanders vs. Ravens. I'm sorry. Ravens favored by 6.5. I'm taking the Ravens to win this game. Mainly because if you're at Dallas, you're hoping that you can get just close enough before you even have to play. And then, okay, they're 4-2, and we're trying to go to 4-2, so we get to watch them play. So, and the Ravens beat you, and you're trying to say, okay, Commanders, you think you're that good? Go against this team and don't die. I think this will be a really good game for the passing offense of the Ravens, and I kind of want to see what they do against Derrick Henry a little bit. But I have the Ravens winning this game. It'll be a good game because the Ravens only play close games for whatever reason. The score is 28. And final game, because we're only doing 4 games today. Because a lot of teams are on bye week. Lions versus Cowboys. Cowboys win on the road last week against the Steelers. The Lions had coming off the bye week. Cowboys are getting +3 at home. The Cowboys have not won at home. And if this was in Detroit, it would probably be +6. It'd probably double. I think this is gonna be a fun game to watch. Everyone's like, bad matchup, bad matchup. Look, I understand that. I get it. I kind of want to see. Now, it sounds like, not 100% sure, but it sounds like Deron Bland is back for this game, which is really great news for the Cowboys, who are really banged up and need help in the secondary after starting a practice squad player last week. So this is going to be a fight. There's going to be a lot of emotion. The ineligible man, that's going to be talked about ad nauseum on Sunday. I'm sure Fox is going to be doing interviews for the Lions and Cowboys on both sides. I'm sure of it. And when they do their pregame stuff, I'm sure of it. But I think the Cowboys, this is going to be fun to see, but it comes down to the quarterbacks. And this might be the only way Dallas wins without Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence. And you have the ball last with the game tied just down 3 or something like that, where you just need to go down the field. And I think they find a way to do it again, and they can get into bye week at 4-2. But this game it's gonna be close. It's gonna be fun to watch. I think Dallas wins this game 28-27 and just edge by the Detroit Lions for the second straight year. Those are the picks for this week, and that is it for the What to Play podcast. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win this week, and also what do you think about the Robert Saleh firing. For the What to Play podcast, I'm Jacob Heber. Out.